Hey, what's up everybody? Izik Bell here. For me personally, from a very young age, my life goal was to become a Ninja Turtle. Fight crime, live in the sewers, eat pizza.
You do realize that the sewers are where the poop go, right?
That was my real plan as a little kid. And as I got older and started to realize that probably wasn't available as a job opportunity, I switched to plan B, which was I wanted to make comic books about superheroes like the Ninja Turtles. I had some small amount of talent for drawing, but as we all know, hard work is what develops talent into a skill set, and me personally, I was kind of a lazy piece of so it wasn't until I got into my 30s that I really started taking things seriously, trying to cultivate those drawing skills. So I did start, getting better, starting to actually get some gigs, just like little commissions online and stuff. It was enough for me to pay my rent and feed myself, and that was about it. But around that time, I lucked out majorly. I linked up with this chick, Alexa Lowe. She was kind of like the missing ingredient for everything, because I was like, I could draw, I could ink, and I could write. Well, I could kind of write. Still working on that one. Alexa came in and she could do everything. She's an illustrator, so she could color everything. She could bring in the variant covers that have been incredibly popular, and she just filled on all those missing holes, the missing holes. The holes were missing. Like, she was the person that came in. She was like, oh, you don't know how to do that? Well, I happen to be an expert at exactly that thing that you are so lacking in. And I was like, well, that's great, because I am greatly lacking in a great many things. And so this young lady helped me achieve my second lifelong goal, the one about making comics, not becoming a Ninja Turtle. So of course we were working on our stuff. We were working on this comic. It was called Metal Shade. We were doing our research. We were figuring out how we were going to make this happen. We realized that crowdfunding is the way to go. Things were a bit different back then. This is like 4 or 5 or 6 years ago at this point. It was a different landscape in crowdfunding back then, but basically what happened was Lady Death had come in and paved the way for comics on Kickstarter. So that's the thing, like, a lot of people don't understand the history of how these things work, but like pretty much everyone finding success on Kickstarter with their dark fantasy, sexy lady comics, really just comics in general on Kickstarter, do a lot better because Lady Death came in and helped build that fan base. The character herself, very iconic, but also the business model behind that is one that really instills a ton of trust and like a solid rock of legitimacy, because Coffin Comics, that's a legit business, like when they put up a Kickstarter campaign, you're not pledging to some possible reward that might materialize if you're lucky. You're basically just making a purchase, because you're definitely going to get everything that you pledge to, and it's all going to be in pristine condition. You're going to get a letter, from the creator, Brian Pulido, signed by him, it's some real stuff. Because of that, a bunch of people had great experiences on Kickstarter backing comic books, and that's when a bunch of other new exciting titles started popping off. And that was around the time that Alexa and I started really taking a look at Kickstarter. We were looking at everything. What's working, what's failing, like let's reverse engineer the successes that we're seeing on here. So, and right around that time, there were titles like White Widow. That was a big inspiration to us early on. There was Patriotica, and another one that hit us over the head like a freaking mallet was Sad Girl Psycho Baby. I remember the day that campaign launched, Alexa and I were both just like, whoa, like this is beautiful. The way it was set up, just everything about it. It's like, this is something special and unique. You can only get this here, and it's fucking cool, man. It's just like, it's so damn cool. So we were geeking out on that, and we're just like, this is the way, this is the path forward, this is what we want to do. Because it wasn't just those initial launches. Like, I think Still Ill is the best example with their title Sad Girl Psycho Baby. That started as like a $40,000 to $60,000 campaign. Once they showed the backers that this is a legit operation here, they're gonna get their books on time, that Sad Girl Psycho Baby campaign shot up to doing 6 figures. They're launching it at least once a year now. And then they launched a bunch of supporting titles to fill out the Still Ill universe. So for me personally, it was like, so this is what I want to do now. But that is a lot easier said than done, as I have found out. We were just watching Still Ill and these other companies just killing it. And we were like, yes, like this is what we want to do. And don't get me wrong, our first campaign was a massive success. Raised over $37,000 with, like, you know, a bunch of backers. And each campaign we launched after that just grew and grew and grew. But I have to say, doing those big numbers doesn't necessarily mean that you actually have your shit together, because these past 4 years or so, I'm pretty sure we've just been holding this thing together with shoestrings and bubblegum. Because, like, the creative side is one thing, we're very strong there. The business side, it's a whole other. And it requires a ton of time and attention. It requires care that we haven't been able to give to it, basically. You know, we had seen how Still Ill Comics and others like them were doing things, and we really looked up to them and we wanted to rise to that level. But the reality is, we're not quite there yet. And you know, these other crowdfund operations, at this point, I've been able to either work for or interact with them in some professional way. And like Still Ill, they basically took us under their wing. They shared a ton of knowledge with us, helped us immensely. They even helped us promote and fulfill our own campaigns. And because of that, I got to kind of see a behind the scenes look at their whole operation. And yeah, we're definitely nowhere near that level. So one thing I have to point out is, you know, when we're trying to reverse engineer stuff on Kickstarter, it's like there's only so much information there, and you have to understand that there's a whole history leading up to that point, you know? So like with Still Ill Comics, Dan Mendoza, he's the creator of Zombie Tramp. So he already had this whole career in comics on the distribution side. So he had his own comic series sitting in comic shops for like close to a decade, I'm pretty sure. We also had guys like Jamie Tyndall, who's the co-creator of White Widow. Like, I don't know his history as much. He was one that I really looked up to, but at the time he had this really shady business partner. So when Alexa and I did work for Jamie Tyndall, we ended up, like, we didn't get paid for the work we did. So it really soured things with Jamie Tyndall, which sucks because, like, I saw him recently at a show and he's a really cool guy. We're still kind of waiting for him to make things right with us if he ever plans to do that. But I will say the guy is also brilliant in the way he sets up all of his stuff. He's a very savvy businessman, and I do think that those are some of the skills that we're lacking here at Akira Crush. And the other day I got myself a nice little reality check from the smartest lady that I know, a young woman by the name of Alexa Lowe, a woman who I am planning to marry soon, hopefully this year. She basically just kind of laid out the facts for me. She said that I am trying to do too much, that I'm pushing forward with too many projects, and I don't have time to actually focus on any one of them. You know, I mean, currently I'm in the middle of fulfilling one campaign while simultaneously opening pre-orders for another, while also pushing forward 3 new campaigns. And it's like, it's too much. And I'm trying to hold this all together, and a lot of that is like, I'm like, look, Dan Mendoza can do it. Still Ill Comics can do it. You know, Brian Pulido with his army, his sworn nation can do it. You know, for us, maybe we need some more practice or something. So I'm gonna have to kind of like let that soak in a little. So that's tough. That's tough. And the reality is we need another person to come work with us. So that's something we're keeping an eye out for. We do want someone to step in and play the role of I mean, they'll have a lot of roles. They're gonna be management, taking over the business side, running social media, running whatnot, running our website, taking care of shop orders, all of that stuff. And ideally, it would be someone who is also like extroverted and could even possibly be the face of Akira Crush. Because me, Alexa, and Patrick were all kind of like these head down type of artists where we're just kind of like sitting around drawing and writing and stuff. We're not big on going out into the light of day and having a conversation with another human being. Those kinds of things are very foreign to us. We mostly just stay in the darkness and draw our doodles. So this is an interesting crossroads for us. So I am gonna kind of like start to slow things down a little bit as far as my like million different projects going on. But you know, the next big thing coming up is Alexa Lowe's art book. And that's been in the works for a while, and it's looking pretty mind-blowing at this point. So we do have really good stuff on the horizon for you guys. We're figuring this stuff out. This is all just a learning process. The good thing is, we're always working on tons of material, so we have a lot of cool stuff in the works. So like I said, we're very strong on the creative side. The business side, we are lacking greatly. The management side, massively lacking. Massively, I mean, I am in charge of management. This guy. It's like, that's a problem, okay? Like, I am not management material. Like, I'm the guy that harasses management and makes life miserable for them. I am not a manager, but I am. I feel like this whole video is just me like untying like the yarn that's tangled in my brain pan. Thank you all so much for tuning in to this exciting video of me rambling about stuff that's on my mind. Thank you for watching, and I will see you again real soon in the next video. Peace!